you are having an amazing Sunday. I'd like to come on here and answer some questions that you may have about gray hair and also give you an update on, I think this is my third week of the medication that I'm taking for my hashimotos and answer some questions that I haven't been able to get to that you guys have left on my other videos. As always, if I haven't told you before, I so appreciate every time you take the time to watch any of my videos, um, comment on them, share them, send me emails. I appreciate your support so much. Um, so there were some questions that some have left me. I believe I wrote down some notes here. Barbara Harris had left me a comment about how she's dealing with yellowing with her gray hair, and she's tried blue shampoo and she hasn't found much results. And I just want to say that the color wheel can be very helpful to you when it comes to any discoloration with your gray hair, because on the color wheel, when you look at the corresponding colors, you'll see the opposite side that can help to offset it. So blue can really help with copper or orange tones, um, and purple is best for yellow. Now, I'd love for you guys to let me know in the comments if you've tried purple shampoo before or blue shampoo. Maybe you have some suggestions for Barbara Harris on here too that can be helpful. Please feel free to do so. Um, I have found for myself the Silver Expressions purple shampoo from Pantene to be very helpful for yellowing with my gray hair. But I also want you to keep in mind when it comes to yellowing with your gray hair, in addition to finding a product to help offset that issue that you have with your gray hair, it's also important to know what other things can be contributing to the yellowing in general. And I didn't bring my sunscreen on here with me, but in the description, I will put a hair sunscreen that I've been able to use, because now that we're getting into warmer weather, I'm not sure what the weather's like where you are, but it's about to be 90 degrees this weekend. Well, we're on Sunday. For the next 2 days, I have seen it's about to be 90 degrees. So don't forget that the sun can have a huge effect on your gray hair. So you can be putting purple shampoo or using the coloring toners and things like that for your gray hair and still find that you're, sorry, I'm trying to figure out where to put my eyes so that it doesn't look like I'm looking down. But you may find that even if you're using purple shampoos and things like that, you're still having yellowing, and you may not realize that it's because of the sun. If you're out in the sun a lot and you don't wear hats, you don't wear head wraps or anything like that, that can be contributing to you having issues with your yellow hair. And since I talked to you guys in my last live about medication that I'm on currently for my thyroid, also keep in mind sometimes the medication that you're on, some vitamins that you take, might also be having an effect on your gray hair. And it depends on your gray hair pattern. If you have a lot of white like me, you might be more susceptible to yellow. And if you're salt and pepper, it might be a little bit different. But like I mentioned, I will put in the description the sunscreen that I use. So if you like to wear your hair out, you don't want to wear a hat, then you can spray some sunscreen to protect your hair. Sometimes when we go out in the sun or we go to the beach, we only think of our skin and we don't think about our actual hair. So having a sunscreen can be able to help. I also saw that Curlsmith has a new spray out that can be helpful for our hair when we go out in the sun. I'll be giving you guys a review on that soon. So when you're dealing with yellowing, don't just think about the products to cover it. And also, I want you to keep in mind, as far as having realistic expectations when it comes to trying certain shampoos or toners on your hair, they can help to neutralize the color or to offset it. But sometimes just like when you put product, gel or things like that, after a while, once your hair gets old, you may start to see the yellow come back. So it's as if the purple shampoos and the toners are helping to camouflage, but it doesn't always take it away. And especially if you're dealing with using heat on your hair, depending on how much you use, you might also have an effect on your gray hair as well, as far as coloring, like the yellowing or any orange brassy tones. So if you're growing out your gray hair, you probably will be experiencing more of the brassy, the orangey, the copper, and blue shampoo might be helpful in that instance. And then if it's the yellowing, purple would be best. Now, for those of you who are not into using any kind of colors on your hair, things like apple cider vinegar, things like actually beer has been very helpful for me. It may not be for you, but beer might be something that you'd like to use, a beer rinse, or you can put beer in your conditioner for your gray hair. I recently used beer in my hair and it helps my hair to be soft. So if you're having issues with coarseness, beer might be helpful. And beer also can be helpful when it comes to shine. Now, let's say sheen. You know, again, a really big part of your gray hair journey is having realistic expectations about when you use a certain product, how it's going to come out. So, just because you see me use something doesn't necessarily mean it will respond the same on your hair. So, I mention a lot how, for me personally, how do I know certain products work or not? Because I've done trial and error. That's how I've been able to figure that out. There was someone who had asked me a question about shampooing. Can they shampoo their hair every other day? I feel like when your hair is very short, you can get away with shampooing it more often. And it also depends on your hair type and how oily your hair gets, how dirty your hair gets, your lifestyle. If you work out a lot, you sweat a lot, it's important to keep that scalp clean and not have any bacteria. So you may find that you may be okay washing it every other day. Maybe a suggestion is co-washing some days and then at least shampooing once a week. The co-wash will help to soften your hair and not dry it out too much. If my hair was shorter, I think I could get away more with co-washing. I used to co-wash when I first went natural, but I use shampoo a lot more now because I go longer without washing my hair, like 2 to 3 weeks. I'm trying to be better, guys. Like the last time I spoke to you, I think it had been a while since I washed my hair. And there were some of you who helped me to know that I'm not alone when it comes to life's challenges and life happening and you feeling like your hair is not on your priority list. And I totally get it. However, when I actually went to go wash my hair, guys, even though my hair is short, it is long. And so it gets tangled very easily. So try not to go too long between washes. If you're dealing with dryness with your gray hair, it might be because it's time for a wash. It needs some conditioning agents and things like that. Really, really keep in mind if you're having issues with your hair, how it might be giving you a heads up that something might be going on internally. I think it was Legs Henderson, a subscriber who told me when I had mentioned about my thyroid issues, she said she had a B12 and vitamin D deficiency and how that also affected her having gray hair earlier. So get yourself checked, make sure there aren't any deficiencies or your health is in order because that could be your hair letting you know that something is going on. I want to thank a subscriber named Christine who let me know that she was on medication for her thyroid and she's now has her levels at a much better place and she's not on the medication anymore. That gave me hope because that may not be the case for everybody, but you know, that's just good to know that there are some cases like that. And so Angela had sent me a comment. She had tried the Uncle Funky's daughter Curly Magic and the Kinky Curly gel, and she found that she was able to get some definition with her hair. But I'm not sure in your question, Angela, if you were telling me that you still weren't having definition in the back of your hair. And I just wanted to point out that if you have natural hair, gray natural hair, you may find that you have different textures all around. I have, if you guys can see somewhat, mostly in the back of my hair is where I have more of the black or my previous color before it went gray. And that side you'll see is definitely a lot more coily than the other areas of my hair. However, this is mostly gray, right? But I find that my sides are the coiliest. Like my hairline is definitely the tightest of coils. And that's actually the sides that I find need to be refreshed a whole lot more. Like, I believe my hair is about 7 days old right now. But, you know, when you sleep on it, you rub on it, I find this area tends to need to be refreshed a whole lot more. So this proves that it's not just, hi, Keisha. This proves that it's not just the darker areas of your hair that might be tighter. There are some people, when your hair loses the most melanin and it's white, might be a lot more fuzzy. So if you're doing hairstyles and you're finding that it's becoming more frizzy, it could be because the areas that have the least amount of melanin lack the most definition. So again, understanding these things about your gray hair and also about your health can really help you to have more realistic expectations and not feel like, what am I doing wrong? You know, why isn't this product working or that product working? It could be so many things that are not in your control that can be affecting the results. Now, I have been on this medication, the level thyroxine, for about 3 weeks. I haven't noticed any effects on my hair. I have noticed effects on my skin. I've noticed that I'm breaking out a whole lot more than I usually do. I can't say that. Remember the last time I told you guys I had something like this, like getting real dark acne scars, I guess you could say. This was before I did the medication, so I can't say I never get pimples, but I find myself breaking out just a little bit more. Um, I'm also finding that I need to put an alarm to remind me when it comes to taking the medication. I usually take it about 7 in the morning. Sometimes it's 7, sometimes it's 7:30 or 7:52. But I'm noticing my body notices the difference whenever I change, like whenever it's not the same date. Let me know if that's the same for you. So some medications that you take, Marilyn, you said, what conditioner or oils are good for dryness? Your hair is so dry, especially when you wash it. How long is your hair, Marilyn? I'm noticing too that length can be a big factor as well when it comes to our hair. Um, right now, right now, I would say my hair doesn't feel dry. Keisha, have I found that my grays are drier than my darker hair? Um, that definitely can be the case. I don't really have that much hair in the back here because I have a tapered cut. But can one thing I will say, I know I had a client before. If you guys didn't know, I also give assistance to those of you on the gray hair journey with product recommendations and things like that. I had a client who told me that a struggle that she had since she went gray is her hair became soft and cottony. So I will say I've noticed more of that lately since I've gotten more gray. As you guys can see, like this on the top of my hair is pretty much the most, like you see how it's, oh my gosh, this month makes 5 years since I've been dye free, and I have to give you guys a little compilation showing you how my hair has changed from when I first went gray to now. So I am finding with me, my hair is getting a lot more soft and fuzzy than before. That's one thing, Keisha, I will say that is different. But everybody is different as well. There are some people who found no changes in the uh the curl pattern of their hair, and then you have others, like this is another example, right? Before I had more of a black streak right here, but you see how it's getting like lighter and lighter because that white hair is coming in. um I'm still able to maintain a good amount of definition, but it's not as tight as the back. So I can say that. I can say the back is tighter coils than the front is. Um, I'm getting a lot more gray as the years go by, for sure. There's some people like my brother who had a gray streak for years and years, and just now he's starting to get more. And my sister is also starting to get more gray, but hers is coming in like salt and pepper. So your gray hair pattern definitely can say a lot with, definitely can affect the results that you have. So I'm just looking at this one right now. And you know what I noticed too, guys? I don't necessarily think it's just from medication because, like I said, I've only been on it for 3 weeks. Even though, even though I've been on the medication for three weeks, I have been having issues with my thyroid for a while. So, like I said, if you're noticing some issues with someone else, I think Marilyn, who was asking about dry hair, make sure to get your blood checked and see if there are not any issues with your health that could be contributing to the dryness in your hair. Especially if you notice a drastic difference. If you're like, wait a minute, my hair is not responding the way it usually does. Sometimes as we get older, the amount of sebum that our scalp produces could be a little bit lower than usual. Do some scalp massages also to be able to help circulation to get to those follicles, and that'll be able to also help with getting some moisture to the hair. But yeah, Marilyn, when you said that about your gray hair being dry, first of all, that is a normal thing. Gray hair can be on the drier side. Um, but then after that, there's some questions you need to ask yourself to be able to see what the culprit is. Because, like I said, I really think a lot of times with our hair, our number one defense is like, oh, it's something wrong with the product that I'm using, and it could not be that. Are you going through some hormonal changes? Are you going through menopause? Um, like I'm realizing for myself, I'm gonna be 41 soon. So I'm even gonna start being able to see, because I went gray this 5 years. I was about 35. So seeing how my gray hair journey was in my late 30s and now seeing what my gray hair journey is like in my 40s is going to be different. So your age could be a factor as well. Someone had mentioned for them what helped them to know that they were dealing with thyroid issues. Their skin was very rough. It was very dry. Do you also have issues with dry skin? And I will say that that is true. I found that my skin, since I started taking the medication, the thyroid medication, it is a lot softer. And having a water softener or water filter can also be helpful when it comes to dry hair. If you have chlorine or minerals in your shower or your, what you're washing your hair with, that can also affect your gray hair. Um, your gray hair, you are able to have strong, healthy gray hair. I don't want us to think, oh, you have gray hair, and that means there's a lot of people who stopped coloring their hair and found their hair was healthier than when they were coloring it. However, I feel like gray hair is the fine china of hair. It's a bit more delicate. You have to treat it a bit more different. Um, I definitely feel I can treat the back of my hair that has more of my color before it went gray differently than the front. I feel this area right here is my fuzzy area. And I'm noticing some receding. I don't know if that's, I think I've always been like that in general, like very fine hair here, but I'm just noticing that it's just like going back a little bit. I'll keep you guys updated on that. That could be from wearing my bonnet a lot more than than I should, wearing it like throughout the day instead of letting my hair breathe. Um, but just in general, I have finer hair on my hairline, even though it is very, very coily. Very, very coily. So I heard a quote that I loved. It said, if you leave things to chance, there's a chance you won't get to it. And so when it comes to our health, especially if you take care of others, it can be really easy to put yourself last on the list. But there are so many things that affect our hair. besides hair products. Our health does, the amount of sleep we get, exercise, um, hydrating. Hydrating is so important. Um, and we can age gracefully. Just because we start to age and we get gray doesn't mean we can't, our beauty expires. So keep that in mind. However, there are some real things about getting older that it does change. And we talked about that on the last live, that change is the constant in this life. And so don't be too hard on yourself if you find that your hair is not behaving the way it usually is. Um, what do they say? If you can't beat them, join them. So listen to what your hair is telling you. Maybe you used to be able to do twist outs before and it was no problem, but maybe now your hair likes, um, maybe you did braids before, maybe your hair likes twists now, or maybe your hair doesn't like to be twisted, or you find your hair is thinning. I am finding that my hair is thicker towards the roots, but it starts to thin out. Like, you guys see this with my hair? Like, it's a lot thicker here, and as it gets towards the end, and that could mean that I need a trim. It could mean that. But yeah, you see how it just starts to disappear. So I'm finding it frustrating figuring out how I like to trim my hair, because it's definitely not the same as when my hair was relaxed, when my hair was straight, and when it was darker, when it was not gray. So, but if there are days where you just don't feel like thinking about your hair, doing your hair, like I said, get you a turban. I've definitely been leaning into that more, and maybe even making sure that I wash my hair and deep condition it, and then just put it maybe in 4 twists, and then wear a wig. Well, definitely not wearing a wig in the summer. My wigs are for cooler weather because I sweat. I am so happy that I have short hair. Um, and another thing, sometimes you guys will look at my gray hair and think, how do you get it to stand up? Like, my hair right now is old. You might find that your hair looks different when you first wash it. Let me know if that's the same for you guys, and when it starts to get old. Another thing that I'm noticing is, what am I noticing that I forgot? That just flew out of my head. I at least have one of these moments with you guys on live. I think of something and then I went to something else, and it's gone now. It's gone. But I think I was telling you guys about styles. When I look at certain pictures, I realize my hair was more defined when it was a little bit shorter. And even though, like I said, it doesn't look like my hair is that long, it's still in a tapered cut, I have a lot of shrinkage. And you see, this is another example of sometimes the tangles that I'm dealing with. There's a part of me that wants to cut it again, because sometimes if you get it cut just right, then it could stand up the way you would like it to. But now that my hair is getting a little bit longer, depending on the products that I put in my hair, that will affect how high it looks, how much volume that I'm able to get. So that's another thing if you're looking for results when it comes to your styles. Um, if you have a lot of shrinkage and you use something like Aunt Jackie's Don't Shrink Gel, you'll be able to get a little bit of hang. But if your hair is fuzzy and it's lacking definition, then Aunt Jackie's Don't Shrink Gel might not be for you. You might need something that will give you a tighter, defined, look. But even then, you might use Kinky Curly on this white little area, and it's not as defined as it used to be, because it doesn't have as much definition as it used to have. So acceptance is so key on your gray hair journey. Um, Finally transition to gray. You got a salt and pepper shortcut. Really haven't found the right products. Your curl pattern has definitely changed. Yeah, it is. And like I said, if you guys don't know, I do offer support to women who are on a gray hair journey. I'll add that in the description so you can find out more, because one of my clients said to me, and I appreciated this because I thought my biggest way that I could help you guys is, okay, I could tell you, what products and things like that. But for this particular client that I worked with, we didn't even get to clients. She was having issues with some hair loss, and we were able to get her to talk to her dermatologist. And she said just having someone who is on the gray hair journey as well and who understands that she could talk to was so helpful. So if you need that, I'm here to be able to help you. And because it can be quite frustrating because you're not sure. And then sometimes you might need someone to let you know that, look, you're not doing anything wrong and you're not the only one. And another thing that is important with acceptance is accepting what your hair particularly can do, because you might be looking at other people's hair and say, well, her hair does this, why doesn't mine? And there's a lot of reasons why that could be so. There's someone I love on Instagram. Her name is Mia Maj. I think that's how you say her last name. Her white hair is so beautiful and gorgeous, but we have very different curl patterns. She has a larger diameter curl than I do. Her hair is a lot looser than mine. Um, but one thing I love about my hair is it can give great definition. You have hair loss, breakage, knowing your hair is 4C is crazy. Uncareless. Yeah, yeah. And for some people, this is another thing too about acceptance. Having gray hair and having natural hair might be too much for some people. There's some people who can embrace their gray hair if it's relaxed and straight. That might be another thing too. I mean, I am about encouraging you to do what works the best for you. I'm not here to shame you and say, well, oh, if you have gray hair, the only way to wear it is natural or without chemicals, or only coily and not straight. When you're dealing with frustration with your hair, it could be because you're trying to make it do what it doesn't want to do. Maybe your gray hair behaves the best when it's straight. My gray hair behaves the best when it's coily. I have tried to do it straight and I found way more frizz, way more disobedience going all kinds of way, and it just doesn't want to lay. It doesn't want to lay. So I have learned to let go of trying to make it do something it doesn't want to do. So that might be another issue that you may be dealing with. But I think in my 5th year of being dye free, the biggest revelation that I've had in this 5th year is that I was like building up to it, and what happened? It left me again. I think my biggest revelation is that I need to wash my hair more. Sometimes I don't want to style it, and that is what keeps me from washing it. But I'm realizing that it's important for me to let it be, let it get washed, especially now that I'm having hot flashes a little bit more and my scalp is sweating a little bit more, getting a little bit more itchiness than I'm used to. But if I haven't washed my hair in 3 weeks, then that's not completely unheard of to be dealing with the itchies. Another thing is how much I love protein. When I never thought that would be a person who would put protein in their hair every time I wash. But I have fallen in love with the Curlsmith Curl Bond Salve, and recently the TGIN protein conditioner. So the Curlsmith is something you would put on before you shampoo. The TGIN is something you can put on after you shampoo. And I also like the Olaplex. So as my hair gets more white, I'm seeing the need for more protein, because maybe if also you're dealing with fuzziness or you're dealing with a lack of definition, and softness, it could be your hair asking for more strength. It could be over moisturizing. So there's so many things that can be affecting the hair. It seems the products for gray hair seem to strip hard, no softness. What other than Curl Bond? I think you're saying what other than Curl Bond Salve? There are definitely other protein treatments out there. Another one that is really good is from Green Beauty. It's a liquid. It's I think it's hydrolyzed wheat protein. And you can, the beautiful thing about that product is you can just add it to any moisturizing conditioner that you have, and that can give you the balance between the protein and the moisture. Another one that I've heard, but I don't use myself, is Apogee. I'm trying to think of another protein. The Shea Moisture Manuka mask is actually helpful for strengthening, and so is the Bask and Bloom one that I use. Um, but I think why I like the Curl Bond salve so much is because it feels like a conditioner, and it doesn't leave my hair really hard. So I don't know if that's what you were commenting on, the fact that the things in the beauty supply store that have protein leave your hair feeling hard and stiff. I didn't find that personally with the Curlsmith Curl Bond salve, or with the Green Beauty, or with the TGIN. And the other one I said too that was like a mask that's strengthening to the hair is Bask and Bloom. And I like that it has some Ayurvedic herbs in it, which are good for our, and it's white. Because sometimes when you get into the Ayurvedic stuff, it can discolor your hair. And also, if you use oils on your hair, that might be something else that might be affecting any yellowing, or things like that. But guys, I'm actually going to hop off. If you guys have any quick questions here, I can try and answer as I'm wrapping up. But please, 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 in the comments, there's something you would like me to answer on a next video or next live, I would love to do that for you. So please ask me any questions that you have in there. And like I said, please make sure to take care of your health. Wanda, thank you. You have thin hair, but you never knew your hair type. Hi, Wendy. How are you, love? Are you in summertime yet where you are? The thinning of the hair is another thing where I'm not going to say that there aren't things that you can find to help with that, but might get into the mindset thing of acceptance, because as we get older, guys, our hair is going to thin. I'm sure there might be some of us who's like, I know it's going to happen as I get older, but maybe not this soon. But there are a lot of things that could be affecting thinning with the hair. Hormones, like I said, the same things as dryness. Making sure that you're getting circulation in your scalp is important. So making sure that you, oh, it's July. Okay. How's the weather over there, Wendy? We're just starting to get some warm weather here. But circulation, you could use, this is free, using your 10 fingers, or you can get a scalp massager to be able to help to get some blood to those follicles. There's someone on Instagram that I love to see when she does her clients' hair. I think she's the Atlanta hair doctor or something like that. It's very hot, huh? In the islands right now. She uses aloe vera. She uses steam, and she uses like a lot of fruit to be able to put on the scalp. But scalp massages are definitely helpful for those who are dealing with thinning. And like I said, if you're also on medication, sometimes medication might be affecting your hair follicles and thinning. But as I'm talking to you guys, I'm just like, if you're watching with me and you're able to, why don't you do this as well? This is also helpful for stress relief. If you're going through a lot of stress, who isn't? It's important to take the time to relax. When you're stressed out, hi Kim, sending hugs right back to you. Thank you so much for hopping on. And see, after I just did that little bit, I think that might have been for like just a minute, I'm already feeling like tingles on my scalp, which means that the blood is flowing there. Stress can also affect your hair. It can affect everything. It can affect your skin. It can affect your health in general. So just making sure to take the time. If you're doing a shampoo and you're waiting for it, if you're doing a purple shampoo, you could put that in, waiting for it to neutralize your hair, and just like get to those areas, especially in the middle of the hair. Something that I don't know might be happening with me is getting some thinning like on this top area. I noticed that the back of my hair can grow so fast, but my sides and the front take a little bit longer. Let me know if that's similar for you guys. Everybody's hair also has a pattern with how it grows. So being able to do some scalp massages is definitely important. For those of you that are dealing with dryness, ask yourself, how frequently do you wash your hair? How frequently do you deep condition your hair? Have you done a protein treatment lately? And like I said, I will make sure to put in the description how you can work with me. That way I could be of more assistance to you, because I do my best to answer your questions here, but maybe if I talk to you, not maybe, if I talk to you one-on-one, I'll be able to have some more context to be able to help you. Carrie, you're still battling with alopecia. Okay, you're still going to the dermatologist. Good. That's another thing. Getting yourself a dermatologist, having them check your scalp, maybe to see early signs of hair loss. Maybe there's something that they could give you for that as well. But remember, guys, hair care is more than just our hair, it's also scalp that we have to be aware of. So make sure to keep yourself priority. If you have some time off tomorrow, see if there's one thing that you can do to be able to take better care of yourself. And if that's taking your 10 fingers and taking 1 minute out of the day to give yourself some TLC, um, let's do that, right? And I will see you guys on the next live. Like I said, leave me questions. Your hair grows on the top, but the back grows slow when you let it grow out. The same with me, Wanda. The back of my hair, if I go to the barber, oh my goodness, this will be like really long, but this part right here, it's a little bit slower, and for others it could be different. But let that let's that let that be our homework till the next time we see each other. At least once, do some little scalp massages, and it's twofold. It'll help your scalp and it'll help you to relax. Us women, we may have a lot of areas that we keep stress. Maybe it's in our neck, in our shoulders, in our back. So I hope that you have a restful rest of your Sunday and week. And remember to keep shining like the beautiful butterflies that you are. I'll see you guys on the next one. Yes, Curly Chemist. Thank you for that, Kim. All right, guys. Bye.